Yo guys, I'm Yellow, the Norwegian hardcore PC gamer, and what we are going to talk about today is something I mentioned before, but this here is a primary clip, or rather a lot of clips, of Rain getting wrecked, and this kind of serves as some of the best evidence that you could possibly find out there. So this is SK versus FaZe. This was played at E-League, and this is one of the games where FaZe sadly does not win, and Rain here, he is the man where his lowlights have been on display. He'll get killed many times by Fur and Co. But what I want to go through here, it's kind of something that you have to look through times in order to be able to understand properly, but it's easily summarized as in all the best players never really quit. They always practice more, regardless of how strongly you can push their shit in. They will eventually bounce back. At least that is what the better players will do, and that requires an extreme level of long-term dedication. And that is where you guys kind of sort of comes into the picture if you want to. This is basically a very simple, yet very difficult decision that you have to do yourself. And you're the only person that can make that happen in reality, as here, the flashbang should have popped like a microsecond earlier. Maybe Rain there would have been alive. But yeah, why this clip thus is relevant and relatable is because of how you can see a lot of the SK players in this very game right here. They're able to do a lot of great work. That takes a lot of work because you have to scout out what your enemies are doing. You have to re-innovate and practice your own skills. And that is aside from always going against any factor that will organically grind down your actual skill. I've talked about this in a not too old video, as Fur here get a very skilled double spray. What I talked about was that there are many factors that are always going to grind down your abilities, and that comes down to very basic things, like how humans forget stuff all the time, or rather, also how the metagame of any type of game or thing that many people are doing, it will evolve, and that means that you have to take note of what is happening and maybe make predictions, or in the real world, scientific tests per se, and you'll see what works, what doesn't work, and when you then suddenly get the edge, you know what is going to happen? You're going to be able to get that step ahead that you're looking for. And currently in the game, you guys are watching with me right here, that's the case for SK. SK is able to do great work, and stuff is not really going to face its direction. But you know what? In the future, things might change. It really all depends on how many of the players are going to put in so and so much work, and what that will amount to in the longer run. And that is the cool thing about CSGO. It never really ends. Even if we take a break or not, the game doesn't really stop. It's currently, right now, it almost seems like a breathing thing that is never going to die. And that kind of feels a little bit elitist to say about the fucking game. But when you think more about it, like, Counter-Strike has already been alive for so long. Now it's finally having its reinsurgency, or whatever you would call it, that particular word, again. And it's still not disappearing, you know, and it's keeping on rocking on once more. And I think currently we had like an average of 400k people playing CSGO over the last 30 days. That's actually a new average record, and we are still around like almost 1 million monthly players, which is even higher than I think that we were at like 800k not too long ago. So the game is just never stopping growing, essentially, even when it's having a slow time growing as well. So if there's anything we can take from that, it's that if you really want to get anywhere in CSGO, it's you that have to make that difference. And this is where we should go into here, the round where I think that Rain and Alu could have been able to make a way bigger of a difference. I wanted to highlight this game clip, not just because of how Rain was able to kill those two guys, and suddenly they now had a good shot at taking over the B side and winning this round, but if Alu had given Rain, or rather had kept the bomb instead of giving the bomb to Rain here, I honestly think that they could have been able to maybe win this round, or at least also had another shot at winning another round. Now, I don't think that SK should have been able to lose this matchup whatsoever. I think that FaZe honestly should have lost as they did, but it's still cool to see that because Alu here didn't take the bomb with him, suddenly, with 1 minute left on the clock, he basically kind of sort of lost the team a lot of money, and maybe the round, or maybe 2 entire rounds right here, because he didn't, you know, make that decision that is a little bit more advanced, a little bit more research have to go into that. You gotta be a little bit more snappy on the flight in order to be able to make that work. And that concludes this video. Hopefully you guys learned something about how you have to put in a lot of work in order to get better at games. Oh, it's a competitive environment, but go figure, that's the only way you can do that. Here are 2 related videos if you want to get smarter or better at CSGO as a game and whatnot. If you want to support my endeavors and help the channel out, I would recommend you to become my Patreon. And that's it. Have a nice day, and don't get beastified when you play.